Mentally math!
Let's get mental!
All right.
Mental.
So you can see a little better. Give you a couple minutes to get out ahead of me. We know the drill.
Mr. Fletcher?
Uh-huh.
When you multiply two negatives, you get a positive, right?
Correct. So really it's 10 times 10.
Because technically that's what I did on my math test.
Excellent. Then you did correctly. Yes.
Around what day or around what time of next week will we get our math test?
I don't have the answer to that question. By Friday?
Oh, that's good.
Next Friday.
That's a long wait.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just excited to see what I got.
Report cards due this week.
Wait, so wait.
Tomorrow.
When are they coming out?
Week and a half after tomorrow-ish. Okay, so I'm assuming definitely if people are talking to me, that means you're well along here. And so negative 10 times negative 10 is just positive 100.
Do you have to put 50 close?
Nope. Otherwise known as 100. Then this is just 12 divided by 10,000. So it's 12, 10,000. Or, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boinky, boinky, boinky. Then, looking at this, a couple ways you could go about that. You could look at this as 2/3 and then, so 4/6 would be equivalent. So 40 60ths would be a way. Then 15% of $24. So I could say 10% is $2.40 plus $1.20 for the other 5%. Would get me $3.60. And metric conversions. So there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So 20 millimeters would be 2 centimeters. And then 5 tenths. Yes?
I just realized half double applies for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Cool. All right. Oops. Yes, I should. Thank you. Yeah, I just realized that. Okay, then 24 is 2/3 of what? So 1/3 in that equation would be 12. So 3/3 would be 36. Then, oh boy, what do the interior angles of a triangle total, people? Ready? We could just go 1, 2, 3.
180 degrees.
Yes, 180 degrees. I'd say you heard it here first, but you've heard it about 500 times this year. So,
Maybe 501 now.
180 degrees. Yes.
I think more than 500 times.
Yes, possibly.
No, 501 because you just said it.
Yes. Okay. So, I can look at this and say, well, 1% would be a quarter, would be 25 cents, and 8 quarters is $2, and $2 plus $25 is $27 bills. Yep.
I don't get 8, but I got 27.
Wait, so, sorry, one more time?
I got $27 for 8, but I got 27.
Okay, well, basically it's 8% sales tax plus the $25 to get your total cost. I can think 1% of $25 is 25 cents. And I know that 8 quarters makes $2. So that's where I came to the fact that the sales tax is $2. And it wants for you to add that to the original $25, so getting $27. Okay.
In my sister's TV show, they call it dollars dues.
Okie dokie. Alright, so lesson 81. So remember when we started out doing ratio boxes and you're just like, oh my goodness, this is so simple. Why do we have to do ratio boxes? And I'm saying like, oh, well, you see, we're going to be doing more complicated problems later on, and this might help you as a strategy, so we're going to try it with more simple things right now. Well, welcome to that part that I said we were going to get to. Though, actually, a lot of these could be done with mental math. So we'll look at the first couple and we go, okay, how could we just mentally math it? However, we're also going to do the thing of doing the Saxon Method, which is outlined in the examples in the book. So we'll also walk through the steps of doing it. Once again, to get kind of a basis with how to do the technique that you can apply to things, because it might seem simple to us when we lay it out, but if you just randomly came across a question like the ones in these examples, you might just be like, where do I start with this? And so this is the answer of, this is where I start with this. So 40% of the students at Lincoln Middle School do not buy their lunch in the school cafeteria. If 480 students buy their lunch in the cafeteria, how many of the students do not buy their lunch in the cafeteria? So say you might look at that and just go, oh my goodness, that seems kind of overwhelming. But we can set it up using a percent box, much like ratio box, and use that as a great starting point for solving the problem, answering the question. So for that, you've got your percent side and you've got your actual number side. Right? Now 4%, and then I think these are fun because it's a technique of we figure out what information we have, what information we don't have, and how to fill in the blanks. Yes?
Why do we need a third box? They're not talking about the total.
Because the total is part of figure. Actually, in this particular problem, yep, we do. I believe we. In this particular problem, we don't need the total, but it's just part of our technique of figuring.
So it's just better to have one.
Well, in all of these, you're going to have one line that's useless information. That's not part of.
So in this one, that's the total.
In this one, it happens to be the total. Yes, because it's not ask. Yeah, exactly. So.
Also, is it okay if instead of the percentage sign and actual number, can we put AC for actual count and like?
Oh, whoops! Actually, I should have put an AC for that one. Actually, actual count.
Could we put P for percent instead of the percentage sign?
Go ahead. Okay, so then we've got our total, which, it's always going to add up to 100%. Then we've got people who do not buy lunch, people who buy lunch, and then it does tell us that 40% of the students at Lincoln Middle School do not buy their lunch at the cafeteria, so we can fill that in. Then it says, well, if 480 students buy their lunch, so that gives us that. And then we're left with a few blanks. Now,
wait, you could also say that the percentage for the people who buy their lunch is 60% because.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So since it has to add up to 100, another quick bit of information that we can get down there is that the buying lunch people, it adds up to 60%. And then, so what we're left with is N for not buy lunch, I guess. And then T for the total. And then our next step is figure out what line is our useless information. And in this case, yeah,
It's the total.
it's the total. Mm-hmm.
Because we know that 40% and 60% have got up to 100.
Right. Well, just in the whole thing,
We don't need to know.
what we have are these proportions. Is 40% is in, and 60% is 480, and this doesn't really help us solve any of that. Uh-huh.
Instead of writing 100 and T and crossing it out, I wrote in the percent box. I wrote useless, and in the actual count number, I wrote info.
That's
Useless
fine.
Info.
That's fine. Sure. Have fun with it. Yes.
So would we do the same equivalent proportions? Like would we do our equivalent proportions the exact same as a ratio box, or is it slightly different because?
It is very similar to a ratio box, except there are a few premises here. One is that it's always going to add up. Your total's always going to add up to 100, which is nice because it makes the actual equation more simple because you're generally dealing with some zeros you can cross out, as we will be seeing. Okay, and then our equivalent proportion would be in 480. Now, we'll stop right here and just sort of preface this with, so what's a mentally math way we could just solve this right now? Yes.
480 divided by wait, I did it a different way.
Well, just getting to this point, you can just look at it and see what the answer is.
You do 480 divided by 60, and then multiply that by 40.
Oh, well, that's a little more complicated than you really need to do. Yeah.
Okay, so so 40. So you 10 times 60 equals what? 480 times 40. I got an 80.
Like I said, you're getting a little bit ahead. You are trying to kind of do the Saxon method, but there's just a way of eyeballing it and figuring it out. Yes.
You cross out the 0.
Oh, nope. I mean, yeah, and then you can think in terms of 4 and 6, but I mean, it's really just mind-bogglingly simple. Yes.
Divide 48 by 6.
Thank you. So if you divide 48 by 6, you get.
8.
So you just need to multiply 40 times,
8.
which would get you
300.
320. Okay, so now that we've settled that, let's look at the Saxon method. So yes, we can just eyeball this and figure out what the answer is, but we are learning a method here. So we are going to do the cross multiplicative goodness and make an equation of 60 times n is going to equal, and then let's see, I can look at that and say 40 times 400 would be 1,600, and then I could do 4 times 80 would be 320. So that would basically, basically I could do 4 times 48, and then I could think, well, 4 times 40 is 160, and then 4 times 8 is 32, so then that would get me 192, and then I've got 2 zeros in the equation, so I can bring those over and get that. Anyway.
Mr. Hector?
Yeah?
So, could we do either one?
If you are not told to do it a particular way, you can do it however you can get to the answer with.
Correct.
If you are asked to do it using the Saxon method, you're expected to do it this way. Our lesson here is lesson 81. That's what I'm teaching, which goes through this whole Saxon method of the cross multiplicative goodness. So while we are going to point out shortcuts to get to the answer, we're also going to go through the steps of this lesson.
So what would you recommend?
It depends. I recommend do set up a percentage box, because that's a great way to start. Use that to get your proportions, and then take a look at it and then see if you can mental math it. And if you can't, then
Just try the Saxon way.
do this method. Yes.
So just
Yeah.
one thing, you could just find 2/3 before you.
Yes, you could just think 4/6 is 2/3. Yes, that's another mental math method. Yes. Okay, so moving along here. Now I can also, now that I look at this, I can divide each side by 10, which is basically just eliminating a 0 from each side. All right. And then from there, I can finish it up by just doing it out as a division problem. And so, however you want to do it, is your answer 320?
Yeah. 320 students
320 students.
that do not buy lunch at Lincoln Middle.
Yeah, so 320 will not get you full credit on a test. 320 students probably give you credit on a test because I'm a big softie. A really good answer would be 320 students don't.
Mr. President, we were writing an entire sentence for husbands.
Don't buy lunch. So that's your best answer.
I did.
That's your passable answer.
Don't buy lunch at Lincoln Middle School.
Oh, sure. Want to add more information? No problem. That's great. All right.
We get extra credit for better answers.
Nah. Nice try, though. Okay, in the town of Centerville, very creatively named. I'm guessing they're probably in the center of something. Center of the county or the state.
Or maybe they think they're in the center.
261 of the 300 working people do not carpool. Okay, so we're going to find out what percentage of, and by the way, if you want to start making your percentage box and start working on this ahead of me, that is good. So what percentage of the people do carpool? And then don't even worry about this until you have the answer to A, because it'll be obvious, and there's no point in even thinking about it till you have your answer for A.
Mr. Bradford, this is so sad.
So sad?
That is a reason.
Okay, well, if it, doesn't sound totally on topic, so if we could just keep moving forward, that would be helpful.
Their name is sad. Centerville.
Okay, like I said, all that's just sort of noise, and if we could focus on what we're doing. Okay, then, actual count, not actual number, AC, and then got carpool, do not carpool, and a total. Okay. And so things that we know for the start is we know that our total has to add up to 100%. Okay. And then we know that the total of people is 300, and we know that 261 of them do not carpool. So what's our quick snatch of a spot that we could just fill in the blank right immediately? Yeah.
We could say that 39 people carpool.
And how did you get that?
We subtract 260 from 300.
Yeah.
Sorry, 261 from 300.
Yeah. So, yep. That could be first quick step. And then the other, we're going to have to work for it.
Come on.
That's alright. Room 16. No, other class.
Always call it one one.
No, that's alright. Not a big deal. Okay. So, this one can be, so, you know, we have what percentage? Well, we've got percent the couple and percent not coupling.
Mr. Petrie, it says actually in the B.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then next we are going to make our ratio. So essentially, so I got a little ahead of myself. Our useless information here is it's not asking. It doesn't want to know the percentage of people that do not carpool. It's not asking that, and so we can eliminate that as sort of our useless slot for this one, and so then that leaves us with percent the couple is to 100% as 39 is to 300, and then I'm sure you're just looking at this going, oh.
Yeah.
So what's our quick mentally math way of this one? May I get someone that doesn't hold on? Yeah.
We divide 300 and 100.
Okay, and that tells you what?
3.
Huh?
We get 3.
Sorry, one more time?
We get 3.
Yeah, and so that means all you need to do is do what with that? I mean, if this is 3 times as much as this, then this has to be 3 times as much as.
The people carpool is basically 13.
Yeah. So I mean, we can just look at this and go, well, this is 3 times as much. So we just need to divide that by 3. So okay, that's our quick hot take on that. But I'm going to go through these motions and do the cross multiplicative goodness to see what the technique would look like. Okay, so here with this we would have percentage of couple times 300. What?
30% they come from the entire United States. Yeah, but would this be like a big coincidence? Would it be a coincidence to this acting?
No, because it's not a coincidence because that's the average. It's what you would expect.
It's asking if Centerville reflects the entire United States. So of course it would be.
Okay, and then one thing that makes these percentage ones kind of simple, especially if you're working with the total as part of your ratio, is you really just need to divide by 100 on each, and it's really easy to just simplify down to something you can work with pretty simply. Alright. And then finishing up the equation. Yeah. Ultimately, the path gets you to you are dividing 39 by 3.
Do you need help or a break or anything?
Oh, no, we're good. Thank you. So, A, we could say 13% carpool. Oops, sorry, I ran into my equation there. And then, so for B, does this reflect the 13% national average?
Yes.
Yes! Okay, and that's how we get there. Okay, how are we feeling here? 1, 2, or 3? How's this? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, keep working with it. Okay. Yeah. Anything round 2 and up, we're good. Okay, let's just practice with one more. Alright, see how far you can get out ahead of me on this one. The students had a spelling test with 40 words.
Wow.
Oh. 6 of the words had 4 syllables. The rest had less than 4 syllables. What percent of the words had less than 4 syllables? Okay, so set up your percentage box, see what you could fill in. What is still a mystery? Take a couple deep breaths, let you get out ahead of me. Okay, so do that for percentage, actual count. So the other class wanted me doing this is total. So we've got 100. Okay, and then we've got 4S for 4 syllables, and less than 4 syllables.
Make like F for 4 because like 4S seems kind of like.
all right. Yeah, the other class demanded I do it like that,
Yeah,
but.
like, just for more clarity.
All right. Here, we'll just go with what I was originally going. Less than 4 syllables and 4 syllables.
Well, I did the 4 syllables at the top of the left.
Oh, sorry, I did that first too.
Oh, for
I was thinking it felt like I switched. It actually wouldn't make any difference. It would not, but just as far as following the book correctly goes. All right, and then our total here, the total of 40 words, and then we know 6 of the words had 4 syllables. Okay, so we can figure out easily how many had less than 4 syllables because we can do what? Anyone that hasn't spoken yet today? Oh, well, let's see, I would say, yeah. Yep, there we go.
Wait, I don't get what you subtracted again.
Oh, well, basically, these two have to add up to 40. Right? So you can figure out the 34 by just subtracting the 6 from it. What's the difference? Oh, I know. That's okay. I miss stuff all the time. Then, so we've got percentage of less than 4 syllables and percentage of 4 syllables. Okay. And then the thing it's not asking you for is what is the percentage of ones that have 4 syllables.
Oh, I know what you mean by that.
So we can get rid of that. Then we can think, okay, I'll bring these over. And I'll bring those up. And so we've got percentage of less than 4 syllables is to 100. As 34 is to 40. And I'm sure you could do some kind of reducey thing with this and figure it out pretty quickly, but whatever. Here, I'm just gonna do my cross multiplicative goodness.
Can you do the simplifying?
Oh, sure. If you want to, that's okay. Then that gets me to 40 times the percentage of less than 4 syllables equals, and then, see, I like these percentage ones because then you just basically have to take this and add 2 zeros. Gets there pretty quickly. And then I can see right here, I can divide each side by 10. Getting me to RPL equals 340. And then I can think, then we can just do it up. I'll just do it up.
Oh, I can.
But really what you could do is think that
At this point,
well you can say you can say 4 divided by 32 is 8, and this is just another sort of half step, so you could say it's like 8.5 would be the answer, but I'll just do it out. It's 85, so we can say. So is the answer 85? No, it's 85.
85 words that have less than 4 syllables.
Oh, 85 words?
Albert and Edward.
No, 85. I might need to go to the restroom in the other room as there's someone working on it.
Okay, go on. Thank you for putting that into our YouTube video. Alright, percent had
Wait, 85% of the words have less than 4 syllables.
had less than, let's see, do a 4 syllables. Alright. Ta-da! Here, okay, should I stop the video before we do this, or?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I had a feeling.